Okay, so we find our heroes, Crimson, Unseen Hand, and Lifeline, hanging out at their headquarters. So where are your headquarters?
I think it's kind of like just under a bridge somewhere, but like kind of like tucked away in like one of the side parts of the city.
Like maybe like a really just like restaurant that's probably gonna close down soon, but like they're kind of like crossing their fingers like, okay, today's not the day, you know?
So
It's like definitely a front for the mob.
a disgusting restaurant tucked underneath a bridge, probably has like a 53 from the health department.
Not sure if my doctors want me to be here, but I don't care that much.
So yeah, just don't touch anything and you won't have to worry about
They got the best pizza in town.
Best pizza in town. So what's the name of
root beer floats are forgot the word.
They serve homemade like lemonade that's just top shelf quality.
And almost no rat droppings. Almost none. Almost none. So what's the name of this amazing pizzeria?
I think it's one of those things where it's just like somebody's name. You know,
Reggie's?
it's just like, yeah, like a Reggie's.
Yeah,
I like Reggie's.
Reggie's Pizzeria. Reggie's Pizzeria. Oh, Crimson, the Unseen Hand, and Lifeline are hanging out at Reggie's Pizzeria, eating some definitely 100% rat dropping free pizza. Crimson is drinking their root beer float. Unseen Hand drinking some of that delicious home squeezed lemonade. Lifeline trying not to touch anything because we don't want to worsen this health situation. So I imagine you have some sort of way of finding out information, having a sense of the pulse of Halcyon City. Do you have a police scanner? Do you have text notifications set up?
Stolen police scanner.
Stolen police scanner plopped right on the middle of the table in Reggie's Pizzeria because Reggie don't care. Reggie don't care. Reggie's just glad he's got some regular customers.
Look, man, we're giving him money as long as he doesn't ask questions.
And Reggie never asks questions. Reggie's the kind of guy who puts the pizza on the table and then goes back into the back room. Reggie has exactly one waitress. She is his daughter. She also does not care. She puts the drinks on the table and she goes back into the back room. The bell on the door rings when somebody comes in. I'm sure it will be fine. So you're getting some of the usual traffic over the police scanner. You know, we got a 3-car pileup on the, just the regular stuff, nothing exciting. Then the reports start coming in from different parts of the city. And you start to notice a pattern. People are reporting strange-looking women. In fact, they're identically strange-looking women standing in the middle of a park, standing on the corner of a street, standing inside of your favorite bagel place, standing outside of the local coffee shop. They all seem to be dressed in a tight-fitting jumpsuit from the neck down. They all have straight white hair that cuts off at the jaw, bangs that cover their eyes. Think Sia, very Sia looking. And they're standing there perfectly still and perfectly silent. And this would not be notable, really, if not for the fact that as people pass by these women, these perfectly still women, they're noticing that sound seems to disappear as they get within a certain radius of the women, as though sound were being dampened somehow. Once you pass into the radius, the sound goes away, but when you leave the radius, the sound comes back. So you have at least 4 reports that have come across so far. One is in Halcyon City Park. One is at the Halcyon Bagelry. One is at the Halcyon City Coffee Shop. And one is up at a crosswalk near the highway that goes through the city.
So park, coffee shop,
Bagel place.
Bagel place,
Bagel
and
place.
then
Crosswalk
where's the
at
last one?
highway.
Okay, role
I
players, role
propose
play.
we go to the coffee place. I've been dying for a cup.
I mean, I'm fine with my root beer float here, but I mean, if you want your coffee, I suppose we can, and I guess we do have to check this out.
Yeah, this seems like something we should probably check out.
Okay.
I mean, for all we know, it could be quintuplets, but might as well check it out. Better safe than sorry.
Of course, creepy quintuplets are not outside the realm of possibility in Halcyon City. So, all right. So our heroes make their way to the scene. How are we transporting ourselves today?
Can any of us drive?
Bus time it is.
Crimson definitely failed their driving test.
Bus time it is. Again, luckily, Halcyon City does not look askance at a group of young costume superheroes getting onto the public bus system. It is the most cost-effective method of getting around Halcyon City when you do not have a driver's license. And luckily, it is a city with an excellent public transit system. So you spend some time taking the long way around the city, taking in the sights, and you finally reach your stop outside the Halcyon City coffee shop where you disembark. And sure enough, as described, you see her standing there on the corner. Tall, slender woman dressed in a bodysuit, jumpsuit, has a zipper up the front, but it's pretty snug fitting. Straight white blonde hair covering the majority of her face. Little pale chin coming out just from underneath the edge of the hair. Standing there, people looking uncomfortable, moving away from her as they walk by.
I'm just gonna start walking over and kind of wave, saying, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Sure, you are shocked to learn you do not get a response.
I'm gonna like bring out my phone and like I'm gonna open up notes in it and I'm gonna walk up to her and I'm gonna like type the message, "Hey, what's going on, fam?"
Okay. And you're going to hold this up for the woman to read?
Yeah.
Yeah, no response, but definitely you feel as you get closer into her radius, you do notice that the background noise around you disappears. It's very, very quiet. You can't hear anything at all, not even the sound of your own pulse in your ears.
Huh. I'll walk up and see if everything truly disappears. Like if the humming of everyone's life. You were there when I explained that, right?
Was I there when you explained that? The humming of everyone's life? I don't know that I recall the humming of everyone's life.
We should probably all explain our powers.
Yeah, let's take a quick pause and explain our powers here. Okay, Lifeline, why don't you give us a rundown?
So I have, of course, the transmuting flesh. I was thinking I could transmute my own, but also transmute others to either hurt or try to heal them. Though I don't really have any medical training, so I might just like superficially cover it up.
Okay.
And since I had to choose a second one, I decided to choose superhuman senses, but I was thinking if I could get like a spin on that instead of the stereotypical like increased hearing and everything, I instead hear like a humming from everyone, and the closer to their death they are, the louder the humming is.
Ooh, okay, yes, I love that. I definitely approve.
Cool.
Okay, unseen hand.
I have of course, classic bow and trick arrows, as well as extensive training in the field of acrobatics.
Oh.
Hence why I don't have a car.
Hence why you don't have a car.
I run across rooftops, not drive across the city grounds.
All right.
Sorry that not everyone is cool enough to do acrobatics on rooftops.
Sorry that I don't live for parkour.
Parkour.
Crimson's powers are teleportation and psychic weapons that almost all are just adaptations of musical instruments. Ooh. So like a battle axe, like shaped like a bass, kind of like Marceline, like yes. Violin bow, daggers.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Definitely here for it. All right. So to answer your question then about the hum of life, no, as you step inside, you do not audibly hear the hum of life. You do, however, still sense the vibration of the hum of life. So you are not cut off from your powers. There's just no auditory input from them at this point.
Huh.
I am going to poke her.
You're going to poke her.
Just to see if she reacts.
Where are you going to poke her?
On the shoulder.
You poke her on the shoulder. She does not move. She's quite firm. Maybe she works out.
I'm in the radius, so I'm gonna like take my hand and try and lift her bangs up.
As you lift up her bangs, you see that her face is quite smooth and mask-like. It is perfectly symmetrical. The eyes are perfectly balanced. More mannequin-like than actual human flesh. Has a softer texture than plastic, but definitely closer to mask or mannequin-like than a face. And her eyes are rather blank and robotic.
I'm gonna try to find her neck and feel her pulse.
Okay. You can feel her neck. It has the same, it's again, much like her shoulder, quite firm, does have the squishy flesh-like coating on top of it, but you do not feel a pulse. Feel maybe a bit of an electrical vibration, however.
I'm just gonna wait. Like, I'm gonna watch for a few minutes and just see if she ever blinks.
Okay. You're just going to watch for a while and see if she blinks. I'd like you to assess the situation. Can you assess the situation for me?
My Birdman helps with that. Okay.
Everybody has their basic move sheet.
2d6, right?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm gonna need to.
Is it
get
all
my
of us or just Donovan?
Well, just Donovan for now. Just
Yeah,
Donovan for
basically
now.
just pulled up. Assess the situation.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, total that's a 6.
Okay, you do not assess the situation, in fact. I mean, nice try, buddy. Nice try. So as you try to get a read on the situation, you find that, every time you're waiting to see if she blinks, you get distracted by something. The wind blows your hair across your face. There's a noise and you look over your shoulder and you realize that you're looking away. You're not really staying focused in the way that you should to be able to assess. I'd also like you to mark a potential, please. Good job at failing. Remember, we fail to win. We fail to learn.
Can I try and assess the situation?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Why don't you
with my delinquent move, I chose Criminal Minds, so even on a miss, I get to ask one of the 3 questions.
Nice.
That is an 8.
Okay.
So that means I can choose.
Yeah, you may choose the question of your choosing. And for our audience at home, assessing the situation allows you to ask one of the following 5 questions. What here can I use to blank? And you can fill in the blank with whatever you'd like. What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly?
The first one was what can I use here to blank?
Yes.
What can I use here to find out if how could I best infuriate or provoke the person in front of me?
How could you best infuriate or provoke the person in front of you? I'm thinking that a direct physical engagement, something obviously has to be firmer than a tap, more aggressive than lifting the bangs. It seems like the only way that you might be able to get a real reaction would be to cause a real reaction. Lifeline.
I'm going to whiff my hand and I'm going to backhand her.
Let's give Lifeline a chance. Are you going to assess? What are you doing at the moment, Lifeline?
I am going to step out of the radius and say to some onlookers that it appears that the lady is not alive, so there shouldn't be really a reason to worry. She's probably just a robot.
Okay, well, Robots, again, not entirely outside of the realm of normal in Halcyon City, but people do have a general sense that if a robot's involved, usually pretty best to clear the area. So you're doing a pretty good job at crowd control here, Lifeline. People realizing that she is a robot and you are heroes on the scene, they are willing to wash their hands of it and let you handle it. So you'll notice that these streets are going to start to empty out and you're going to get a pretty nice radius around you where you're not going to have to worry too much about any sort of civilians getting in your way. Crimson, you are going to sock it in the face. I would like you to roll to directly engage a threat. So you'll be rolling plus your danger.
That's a 7, I believe.
All right. At a 7, you can choose to resist or avoid their blow, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, and you also solidly connect with her face.
I'm going to create an opportunity for my allies.
Okay, why don't you describe to me how you're going to open the window of opportunity for your allies?
So, like, what's like the reaction as I like backhand this robot person?
Facial expression doesn't change, but head snaps hard to the side and she does rock on her feet. Pack a pretty mean punch, Crimson.
Like, I'm gonna like create an opportunity and like kind of like maneuver my way like behind her so like I can like take a hold of like her shoulders or her arms and keep her from moving like her arms too much to try and attack with her arms at least.
Excellent. So
As she does that, I'm gonna, since she's creating an opportunity, I'm gonna try to attack. I'm just gonna launch a shock arrow right at her head.
okay, we're going to also call that directly engaging a threat.
Birdman helps with that.
Okay. So you're going to roll plus danger for directly
10
engaging.
total. Actually, no, plus danger. I get 10 total.
All right, so you get to actually pick 2. So not only do you hit her solidly with your arrow, a zippity zap, you get to resist or avoid her blows, take something from her, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Would it be a stretch to say I could take away her stoic nature?
Take away her stoic nature? You could certainly try. She is a robot after all.
That's true. And I guess I'll just surprise her.
The robot certainly seems surprised to have been shot with a shock arrow, but you get to pick one more because on a 10, you get to choose 2 plus your successful hit. So the cone of silence dims a little bit. Those who were on the edge of it notice that it recedes. Those who are inside start to hear a little bit of peripheral noise again. This may be a result of her being shocked. It could be a result of her being startled by the unseen hand.
I guess I'll also create an opportunity since she is being zapped.
So she is now restrained, shocked, and the cone of silence is dimming. Lifeline, that brings it back to you.
I'll look in mild amusement to my teammates immediately going towards violence. And I guess I'll talk to
Crimson is a
again.
teenager.
Yeah.
An unseen hand was raised by assassins.
I can't say I'm really surprised. But I'll try to do more crowd control, saying that it would probably be the best idea for them to leave the scene.
So Lifeline calmly and maturely manages the crowd, does a wonderful job of it. Nobody even really looks at the bandages funny. They're just like, oh, at least this hero seems to know what she's doing. Phew, all right. So you've cleared the streets out pretty well. There's still a little bit of a crowd inside the coffee shop, but they are well outside the zone of action. The robot is struggling. She is quite strong. She is straining Your grasp is barely keeping hold of her, Crimson, and you can start to feel an electric hum building up in her, a little bit of a static electricity feeling in your fingers, Crimson, and it's starting to creep up your arms as the hum increases. It's not an audible hum, but more of a feeling of a vibration. So I would like you to roll to take a powerful blow as she emits a strong jolt of electricity. So roll plus any conditions you have marked, which at the moment should be none.
Seven.
7. Okay. So you can choose now one of these options. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground, giving your opposition an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions.
I think I'm going to give ground.
Get to give ground. As the jolt of electricity hits Crimson, they are thrown back onto the ground, skidding across the pavement, scraping their hands, scraping up the bottom of their suit a little bit, looking stunned. That was definitely not a comfortable experience. And the robot now has a glowing aura of energy around her. Unseen hand. You've just seen your teammate zapped back onto the pavement.
I guess I'll shoot like I'll use my trick arrows. I'm gonna shoot one that kind of like connects back to me via like a fiber rope or whatever.
Okay.
Not a metal rope.
Okay, a fiber rope like a
And I just
nylon.
want to kind of like a grappling hook when it's got like the hooks in. I'm just gonna shoot it right into her chest. I'm gonna try to like throw her away from Crimson.
Okay, that would definitely be directly engaging a threat. So why don't you give me a roll plus your danger?
And I guess since my Birdman helps me, he'll just be also pulling on the string a little bit.
Okay, he can help guide the string.
11.
Okay, you are having a lucky day there indeed. Nice to have that bird companion with you. The grappling hook arrow lands square in center mass right in the middle of her chest. The claws deploy, spread out into the metal. You now have a good, solid tug on the line. You have got her hooked. Reel her in if you want to, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw her away from me, and I'll do for my 2 things.
Okay.
I'll create an opportunity, and I'll resist or avoid their blows.
Okay, so as she tries to shoot more electricity at you, she is thwarted by the fact that you very wisely did not shoot her with an arrow that has a metal wire on it. Good call, unseen hand. And you create an opportunity by flinging her through the air. She goes tail over tea kettle, soaring through the air, bouncing boing, boing off the street. You can practically see the sound effects pop up in words, but you can't hear them because as she hits, she does not make any noise. So, Lifeline, you are watching your teammates doing what they do best, which is, go big or go home.
Oh dear.
I love that your response is like, oh, it's a robot. It must be evil, even though it's not doing anything but being really quiet.
I'll look at the robot, think about my powers, and come to the conclusion that pulling away someone's life probably isn't going to do much on an electric robot. So I'll go over to the Crimson and attempt to start healing some of the scrapes that they got from, being thrown back.
Crimson, the skin starts to close back up over your palms. That's nice. Stings a little, feels a little tingly, but things look pretty good. You might have a piece of gravel stuck in there that you might want to attend to when you get home, but no more bleeding, no more scrape. Won't be a problem for you to make a fist to hold a weapon, thanks to your teammate Lifeline doing what she does best, which is not just immediately assuming that the robot is going to murder people.
It's perfectly fine. The gravel under skin is a totally normal condition. Don't worry about it.
It'll break down eventually.
Gravel skin. I mean, like, who hasn't had gravel skin?
It's just extra minerals. It's completely healthy.
So
Beneficial.
It'll make that spot on my hand just a little bit tougher.
Increased defense, exactly.
Good for smacking. All right. What now, team?
Is she still like on the ground?
Well, as you took her tail over tea kettle, you kind of slammed her head first into the blacktop. So her little robot arms and legs are kind of sticking out and they're vibrating, but her head is smashed pretty well into the... You ever seen a bug smash into a windshield? The street is the windshield. The robot is the bug.
I guess I'll just like shoot a net arrow or something. Try to like trap her.
All right. You can shoot a net arrow at her. She is not going anywhere. You don't even need to roll for that. Robot successfully netted. Little shocks coming off of her. You might not want to put your bare hands on her, though. She's definitely still electric, but could be worse. Whew, this was a pretty quick solve. City saved, right?
Definitely.
All right. So now you've got a robot in a bag.
So
where should we take her? Because like I know that Reggie's cool and all, but I'm not sure how much he's gonna appreciate us dragging in a broken electric robot into his nice establishment. I mean, it could kill some of the cockroaches that are kind of walking around in there, but
I mean, they're as much clients as they are pests, so they should probably be kept around.
I mean, they are the reason he gets about half as much business as he does.
should we I guess we could try dragging her under another bridge or into an alleyway.
I mean, there are tons of bridges in this city.
There are a lot of bridges.
A lot
Hey,
of
maybe
bridges.
instead
No,
of the
you know in
orphans,
bridges where
we're the
it's like
ones that
the-
dwell under bridges. It might be a little bit of a lengthy name for a team, but the ones who dwell under bridges.
The sewer trolls.
I like that one.
Sewer
Yeah,
trolls.
you know how under some bridges there's like the like big sewer pipe, but like it doesn't really go anywhere. Let's drag her into one of those.
Like a culvert?
Yeah.
Like a culvert. Okay, so here you go, walking through Halcyon City, dragging your robot in a bag behind you. As she goes across the ground, she's making that kind of metal scraping noise as her sound dampening powers seem to get less and less, and the shocks seem to get less and less, fewer sparks coming off, and the noise is starting to return. Her foot dragging on the ground is making a horrible metallic sound. So yeah, I definitely think that she's kind of in the process of powering things down a little bit. So you take her to a bridge that is fairly out of the way, drag her into one of those nice culverts that runs underneath the bridge. So now it's the three of you in a pipe under a bridge in a bad part of town in the city with your robot corpse.
So, do any of you guys know how robots work?
I have no idea.
Does kitchen appliances count?
I mean, they can't be that different, right?
It's basically just a blender, just with a few extra parts.
I mean, we didn't really see any like knives on it, so I'm not sure like if blender would have. I'd say more toaster.
Yeah, more toaster. I'm thinking. I'm just gonna like, I guess like try to see if there's like a hatch on the back I can like pop open or something, or like on the neck. Just start banging around with my bow.
So if you unzip her bodysuit, you will find, don't worry, it's perfectly like a Barbie doll under there. It is a smooth expanse of plastic, perfectly appropriate. You're not hurting any robot's modesty by unzipping her bodysuit. You will find that she does in fact have a panel in her lower abdomen that opens up and has, well, I mean, to the eye of the unskilled person, there's a lot of wires in there. There's maybe some coils. Something that looks like might have been a power source at some point. There's some drippy fluid going in there a little bit, like kind of like a bright electric blue drippy fluid. You may want to avoid that, but hey, who knows?
Free Gatorade.
Might give you some powers after all, Unseen Hand. So without a lot of robotics knowledge, looking inside the torso of this incapacitated robot woman doesn't really give you a lot of information. So who is going to be doing the primary digging around, and what are you looking for?
I mean, I'd be happy to just pick up a stick off the ground and poke around in there.
Okay, Lifeline pokes around with the stick. A little squirt of the blue fluid comes out. It's gross.
Can I try to get like an arrow which is just has like a glass vial at the end, and I'm gonna fill it with the liquid
Sure.
and just put that in my quiver for now?
Sure. You now have an arrow full of electric blue robot liquid.
Oh, I do also have the beacon move where I can just pick up an item and write it down as an ability. Can I take off her arm?
Sure. I mean,
I'm gonna use it as a bat.
you're probably going to need a rock or something to bang it loose. I mean, she's pretty tough.
My boxing glove arrow.
Oh, sure, naturally. So Unseen Hand shoots the robot's shoulder with his boxing glove arrow. Arm pops off. Little squirt of blue fluid comes out. Flaps of fake robot skin flapping around, but it came out of the socket pretty cleanly. So at least you don't have any loose wires. That's good. You just got the
Just gonna
one.
strap it on my back.
Just the one loose wire. Now it's strapped on his back. Now, granted, it looks very much like a human arm. So right now, Unseen Hand has a very realistic severed human arm, leaking a little bit of blue goo from its robotic joint, strapped to his back. If you don't see the end of the arm, it looks like he's wearing a woman's severed arm on his back. These things happen.
There's no blood. Everyone should obviously know that's a robot arm.
I'll just say it's a prop.
It's true. It's even
We're just a band of young theater kids just trying to make their way through the world.
Making my way downtown.
I mean, look at me. I look like a mummy. Of course we're theater
walking
kids.
fast. All right. So you now have arm on the back for future bludgeoning. So now you have a 3-limbed incapacitated robot woman with her torso open, wires hanging out, blue goo squirting, dripping everywhere. Okay, now what?
I'm gonna take out a little bit of organic material, like maybe like a piece of paper, or like maybe I like take a feather off of Unseen Hand's bird. I'm gonna
My
put
bird will mess you up, man. You leave him alone.
And I put each of them into the blue fluid to see if it's in any way, shape, or form like highly acidic.
We should grab a cockroach from Reggie's and put it in the blue liquid.
The feather
We're
gets
genius.
sticky. The feather is sticky. Now you have a 3-limbed robot woman with her torso open and blue goo dripping out and a sticky feather.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go grab a cockroach and I'm gonna just chuck it in the blue or I'm gonna like gather up some blue liquid and like drip it on a cockroach or something.
The cockroach is now sticky.
It's a science experiment. Don't worry about it.
Science.
Not directly harmful.
At least not to
it, though.
At least not to cockroaches.
I think this stuff is basically just thick Windex.
Thick Windex. Are
Put it on a spider.
you keeping the cockroach for observation?
I could always use with another pet.
Okay. Cockroach
What should we name him?
Cockroach goes into a what?
His name will be Harold.
Harold the
Harold,
cockroach.
wait, what's your bird's name?
Currently, well, it was gonna be Buddy, but I think now it's just Birdman.
Birdman.
Okay, Birdman and Harold.
Birdman and Harold. So Harold, the sticky blue goo covered cockroach, goes into a container, goes into the quiver, goes into the coat, goes somewhere. The cockroach disappears somewhere into the costume or equipment. He's in there somewhere. Okay, so let's do a rundown of what we currently have. We currently have a 3-limbed incapacitated robot woman, a sticky blue goo covered feather, a sticky blue goo covered cockroach, and no clear plan for what we're going to do from here.
Let's go to the bagel store and find the other lady and also get a bagel.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do with a bagel.
Are you
That dude owes me a favor.
the robot ladies
Though
Body
before we
and the
do that, should we get rid of the body?
I mean, it's not like we murdered someone, so I'm not sure if we have to like get rid of the body in the way that you're saying, but like
I think
maybe
in
we
the
should
part
just
of
like
town where Reggie's is, if we just dump it in the river, no one will care. I think it's just normal stuff
I
for a
think that if
body
we
to be in the
put the
river.
body in like the alleyway next to Reggie's, if it's not gone, and then we know that's a good hiding spot, and we know that people won't really care because it's Reggie's. Like, who goes to Reggie's?
You guys.
I mean, who goes to Reggie's that's going to be telling the police about a dead body?
Okay, so the corpse of the robot lady is unceremoniously dumped in the alleyway behind Reggie's, and we go about our business, and our intrepid heroes hop back onto the public bus system in order to take them to the bagel place. Making your way downtown again. Well, here you
Driving
are.
fast,
People pass
walk
and you're
fast.
bagel bound. Here you go. Here you go. You're coming up to your stop. Now, unfortunately, this one doesn't drop you off right in front of the place. You're going to have to probably walk a couple of blocks when you get off
Walk.
your...
I hope you mean parkour. I'm running across rooftops.
Unseen hand is running across
I
rooftops.
just teleport to the bagel shop.
I
Wait,
guess I'm
you could have been
left here
teleporting
walking.
this whole time,
Yeah, I have teleportation powers.
but you're still riding the public bus.
I mean, I don't want to have to leave them to ride the public bus alone.
Fair enough.
So kind.
So kind. You're very considerate delinquent. I think you just get a bad rap is all. You secretly love your team members and their pet bird and their new disgusting pet gooey cockroach named
I
Harold.
would die for Birdman.
You die for Birdman. Birdman loves you too. Birdman goes out of his way to not poop on Crimson. So there you go. Once again, this is a situation you've just seen. You've seen this robot woman before. This one looks exactly like the one you left in the alleyway, with the exception of the fact she still has both her arms and her jumpsuit isn't unzipped and she doesn't have wire and goo hanging out of her. But there she is on the corner in her cone of silence.
I'm gonna walk up to her and I'm gonna say, I know what you are.
She doesn't answer you.
No sound can travel to her, remember?
So, I mean, pretty much what you say is, and the robot's like, can you unmute?
Is there any form of switch on her?
You are welcome to pat down the robot for a switch.
I want to see if there's a switch that turns off the cone of silence.
Okay, so Crimson begins patting down the robot, looking for a switch. Suddenly, the robot's arm darts out rapidly and grabs you by the wrist. She's got you in a pretty good grip right now. I would like you to roll to take a powerful blow.
I'm gonna roll to defend.
Okay, so we'll have Crimson roll to take a powerful blow. Unseen hand, roll to defend. So I'd like, so you don't have any conditions, Crimson, so you can just roll. And
12.
7.
Oh, wow. Okay. So lucky for you, your teammate is there to defend you. So as the robot's hand goes to punch you, she's got you with one hand and her fist is coming with the other. Unseen hand, describe to me how you defend, Crimson.
I'm just gonna, as the hand is coming towards Crimson, I'm just gonna swing directly down with the arm to try to knock it out of the way, or maybe bend it or something.
So you're hitting her with her identical clone's arm? You're using the robot's arm to stop the other robot's arm. Okay. So the swing of the robot's arm knocks the other robot's arm off its arc towards Crimson, and she releases Crimson's wrist. Crimson, you stagger back, unharmed, definitely annoyed, as the robot turns its attention to Unseen Hand.
Before that happened, was I able to find any sort of switch on it, or
No,
what area was I getting close to when it tried to punch me?
You were patting down its arms and its torso. You were kind of in the middle range. I mean, that's where you know for sure the wires were, right? So All right, so the robot's attention is now on Unseen Hand. Unseen Hand. The robot's mouth opens. A loud sound comes from the robot's mouth. It is the only thing emanating from the cone of silence. It is such a loud and powerful sound, it is practically pushing you backward to take a powerful blow. Oh, doesn't
The
seem
one
good.
time, 2 6s, the one time it's bad to get a high roll.
So, I would like you to choose to remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc., lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list. Lash out verbally, provoke a teammate, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. Give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity, or struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions. So you can either choose 1 from the first list or 2 from the second list.
I'm gonna go 2 from the 7 to 9 list. I'm gonna give my
Okay.
opponent ground, and I'm gonna lash out at, I guess, Lifeline and say, "Hey, could you help?"
Oh. So are you going to provoke her to foolhardy action or try to inflict a condition?
I guess inflict a condition makes more sense.
Okay. So I got some bad news for you, Lifeline. I would like you to mark the guilty condition because you did not step in and help. And now look at the situation your teammate is in.
Oh.
So you are now a guilty feeling little mummy girl.
Oh, yeah, do we have any team pool points?
You have your 1 team pool point for being a team together.
I guess after this, we should probably discuss who we nominate as leader.
Probably a good idea, yeah. So right now you're going to have a -2 to provoking someone or assessing the situation. So Lifeline struggles under the weight of the guilt of failing Unseen Hand, who is knocked backwards and yelling, and it's just sad. It's just sad.
Lifeline, who's like a bit behind everyone else because she had to just walk there because she doesn't have fancy teleportation or parkour.
Or parkour.
Reacts to the yelling of the Unseen Hand by yelling back, "Fine, I'll try, but I don't know what you expect me to do." And I'll try to reach out, grab onto the humming I vaguely hear from the robot, and twist, trying to take their health away.
Okay. So the robot does not have any kind of organic health. So in this case, you find that you start to try to pull energy. You can feel that there is an energy source there, but it's almost like trying to slide on a glove that can't fit. It's too tight. It's not the right type of energy. So you can't pull life from the robot, but you have a sense of there being some sort of power or life source in her. It's just definitely not in line with a human or other living creature's life force.
After seeing my failure, I kind of take my hand back and rub the palms of my hands and my eyes.
Oh, poor Lifeline. Poor Unseen Hand. Oh, Crimson. Crimson, it comes down to you.
So for psychic weapons, what exactly does that entail?
What do you want it to entail?
Like, I want to try and manifest, like, a speaker in their chest.
You want to manifest a speaker in their chest. So a psychic loudspeaker into her chest.
Basically, my psychic weapons are modeled after music stuff.
Yeah. So you want to receive a signal from you or amplify a signal from her?
Receive a signal from myself.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to say that that falls within the realm of using your powers. However, this is not a simple thing. This isn't like making a guitar that is also an axe. This has moving parts. This has projection and signals and components. So I'm going to need you to roll to unleash your powers, because this is going to take a real
What is the add to unleash
blast of psychic energy. Okay, to unleash your powers, you're going to be rolling plus your freak. This is to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses.
It's a 5.
A 5. Well, I mean, these things happen. I'd like you to mark a potential. The speaker starts to take shape inside the chest of the robot, but it fizzles out before it can quite manage it. Sparks fly out of her chest, and Crimson, you are knocked back onto your bottom in a little bit of shame as you don't really do a great job doing your work. You just couldn't quite envision it. I think maybe that was something that you might need to try practicing. Okay, so Crimson has tried. They've given it their all, so. Unseen hand, lifeline. What have we got going on?
All right. I wanted to try to walk up and swing a punch.
That would be directly engaging a threat. Easy peasy. Roll plus your danger.
That'll be a 4.
Okay, as you try to take a punch, her head snaps to the side and nothing but air. Mark your potential. And roll to take a powerful blow. Because as her head turns to avoid your blow, her head really more rotates towards the back, and she emits the same loud sonic blast at you again.
Can I roll to defend by trying to push her out of the way right in time?
Yes, you can roll to defend by trying to push her out of the way.
It's a 10, so I think they get a -2 to their roll.
Yes.
So yeah, because rolling high for taking the blow is bad, so you get a -2 to your roll.
Yes, so -2 to your roll. So do your roll, please, Lifeline.
Sorry, I was also thinking of using the transformed move, I am not my body.
Ooh.
So when I take a powerful physical blow, I can roll as if I have 2 fewer conditions marked. So, well,
Excellent.
just 1.
Yeah, excellent. Okay.
So bad things happen if I rolled above a 10.
Yes. High is bad, low is good when you're taking a powerful blow.
After that -1, that'll be a 6, and you said I had a -2 from being defended?
All right, you stand strong. Mark your potential and this is a case where you want to fail to win, so mark a potential. But yes, you are successfully defended by Unseen Hand. He pushes you out of the way, and it also warms your heart to know he's not afraid to touch you. He is a teammate who loves and trusts you. He's not afraid of you. He pushes you out of the way, and you feel pretty good about the fact that, he's not still mad at you from earlier.
Good.
He's doing okay. You can feel that guilt start to recede a little bit. It's starting to recede a little bit for sure. I think that, putting yourself out there for your teammates like that's going to go a long way to absolving you of that guilt. All right, who is up now? Crimson, that comes back to you. The robot's attention is now turned on Lifeline.
I'm gonna kind of swarm of daggers that are shaped like violin bows.
Ooh, a swarm of violin bow daggers. Okay. That is, I would say, I don't know, how many are we talking here? Are we talking like 1 or 2, or are we talking like a symphony's worth?
I'd say for roll good, I'll say a symphony's worth.
Okay, then that's definitely an unleash your power thing again. So please roll plus your freak to manifest far more violin bows than is normal for one to have to attack the robot.
It's 5.
Rolled a 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so we all have good days and bad days. Today is just not really Crimson's day. Their bows, as they come towards, go out in all directions. I think you are somewhat scattered, mark a potential, and Lifeline barely ducked out of the way in time to avoid one of those bows. Whew. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Could have been better, but could have been worse. No teammates were harmed in the missing of this shot. So we're doing pretty good team. You're feeling pretty good about your team working together.